So you want to get into PC gaming in 2025? What's up guys, Mola Gaming here. We're back with another video now. Before we start, I hope everybody's doing good. Now this is gonna be a little bit of a different video than what I usually make. Now for those of you that don't know, you just click on this video by chance. I haven't always had a PC. I just had a PCs. I have like a year and like 4 months with a PC, and I actually built one myself, the second one. So this is my second PC. So I just wanted, like, for anybody that's I'm trying to make a video for like anybody that's trying to go into PC and make the jump from console. Now let's just get this out the way. I just want to get my specs out the way because I'm gonna be referencing everything I mentioned is gonna be my experience, like with my parts and whatnot. So I'm currently rocking MSI Mac Tomahawk B650 Wi-Fi. Ryzen 7 7800 X3D for the CPU. I'm rocking a RTX 5080 Asus TUF. I'm rocking 64 gigabytes of RAM. Corsair Vengeance 6200. I think it is. I think it's 6200 or 6000. I think it's 6200. My fault. I'm rocking a Corsair 1500 watt platinum power supply. Yes, that's just overkill for my build, but I do have an internal, a WD Blue internal 2 terabyte hard drive, and I have an external 6 terabyte portable hard drive, and then I have 3 SSD on my setup. So I actually kind of need all the power I can get, because originally I was supposed to get a 5090, but you guys know 5090 prices are like outrageous. But wait, why are you saying 5090 prices are outrageous? You have a 5080, they're also outrageous. When I bought a 5080, that was at $1,200, $1,300. Yes, that's still a little bit overpriced, but $300 is better than $1,200. You feel me? Like $1,200 is just an insane overprice. But when I bought my 5080, I actually had an offer for Best Buy. Since I'm a Total Tech member, they just gave me an offer and I took it. But I originally was gonna get a 5090. But if you ask me, in my honest opinion, high-end gaming for PC, I feel like is not worth the money, because if you just have like a really good budget card for like the 9070 XT or whatnot, you know what, we're gonna get into it. And then at the end, I'll give you guys my final thoughts on what I think. Chapter 1, know your budget. Okay, first and foremost, before you even think about a gaming PC, know your budget. What I mean by your budget is the amount of money you have available to spend on a PC. Now, if you just like dabbling, just checking out prices here and there, that is completely fine. But like I said, if you're really thinking about jumping into PC gaming, you have to know your budget, because you already know that you've probably seen it everywhere online or forum or wherever it is that you're seeing it. PC gaming is not cheap, like at all. It's not cheap at all, unless you decide to go to like a used marketplace, or if you're doing like a mid to low end build. But if you want like a mid to high end build, most of your budget is going on your graphics card, and then most of the budget after that is either on the motherboard or on the CPU. Now, there's a lot of budget builds that you could do for like $500, $600. You could go to CTT YouTube's channel. He'll show you how to do really good budget builds. You could go to TechSource. They also do some really good budget builds. But I'm just letting you know, like, know your budget. Like, for example, for this new PC that I built myself, for the specs I've listed, I gave myself a budget of $3,000. I ended up going over because I'm an idiot and I made some mistakes buying wrong parts here or there. But most of the time, you give yourself a budget. Also, a great place to check out is PC Part Picker, because not only does it tell you the price, it will tell you if parts are not compatible with each other. chapter 2, know what resolution you want. Now, what I mean by that is basically where you want to play at. Where do you want your PC to land at? The reason why I say that is because it's good to have a good resolution in mind, so you know how much you want to spend. So if you just have like a monitor, like if you have a monitor already, because obviously you're gonna have a monitor, you're coming from console. If you're playing on the TV, I have bad news for you. You might not want to put your monitor, you might not want to put your PC on the living room. It's not gonna look right. I mean, you can do it. I'm not saying you don't do it, but 9 times out of 10, if you're getting a PC, you're gonna put a monitor on it and you're gonna play on the desk. Now, if you already have a monitor, just work with the resolution that your monitor have. If you have a 1080p monitor, you have some great choices of PC parts. Now, for my 1080p, like this is after the recording, so I can actually deep dive from here. So from what I meant is like to get into a deeper deep dive, if you're gonna go 1080p, I think any pre-built that you're looking at, do not get an 8GB card. Why I say that? Because even though you're playing on 1080p, nowadays games require more than 8GB of VRAM if you don't want to run into no issues or whatnot. But if you're gonna go, if you just want a 1080p build, I highly recommend you go with the 9060 XT. The reason why I say that is because not only is the 9060 XT way cheaper than the 5060 Ti, because the 5060 Ti, yeah, you see right now, you see 8GB card. Do not buy 8GB. Do not fall into this trap. Now, as I am recording this video, there is a little tech sale that's going on. So when this video come out, this sale's not gonna be there no more, so expect the prices to be like around here. But I am a firm believer, if you find a 5060 Ti 16GB cheaper than a 9060 XT, go with the 5060 Ti. If it's not cheaper than the 9060 XT, then go with the 9060 XT. Why do I say that? Because although the 5060 Ti is better, if you're gonna go for a budget build, if you just have a 1080p monitor, then you're better off with the 9060 XT. You're not gonna be missing out on extra performance, like unless you really like Nvidia and you really like their video encoding and whatnot. Now in Newegg is a different story. I don't like checking Newegg because Newegg is always the most expensive one for some freaking reason, man. I don't know why, but Newegg is always so expensive, man, when it comes to the 5060 Ti and then the 9060 XT. Well, hey, no, as a matter of fact, look, this is a good right here, the ASRock is $369, bro. That is a steal right there. It is a freaking steal right there. That is so cheap, bro. $369. Another one right here, $369. Now, I don't recommend Intel Arc because the Intel Arc, for you to get decent performance, you will need a really good CPU. And based on this is a budget build for 1080p, you're not gonna need it. But here, right here, this is Best Buy. Best Buy also have some good deals right now because of the, you know, the sale or whatnot. But this one is also pretty good. The 77 XT is pretty good for 1080p and also some 1440p action, because this car is actually pretty expensive. It's just because of the sale right now. As you can see here, save $50. Plus, I'm a Total Tech member, so I'm probably even getting an even bigger discount on top of that. Now, the 9070 XT, that's a topic for later on. But yeah, as you guys can see, there's a lot of good budget cars. And then for the 5060 Ti, as you guys see, it's just like way too expensive. For this fucking price right here, for this price, just buy a 9070 or a 9070 XT or a 5070, bro, for this price. Like, this is ridiculous, bro. This is overpriced right here. Stay away from 8GB cars. Look at another one, 459, 44. I feel like that's just too expensive, bro. Look at this one. Bro, this is more expensive than a 5070, bro. There's no way for you to justify this price right here. You know why there's no way to justify this price? Got you right now, bro. You can find 5070s like nothing, bro, at retail. Look at this, 549, 549. There is no excuse, bro. No excuse, bro. This is Best Buy, right? 549. Why the fuck will you even buy a 5060 Ti for that price? That is highway robbery. This is Micro Center. Let me see, Micro Center. I'm actually surprised. Did I put the correct car? Yeah, 57. I'm actually disappointed in Micro Center. They don't have no MSRP car. Yo, they have no MSRP 5070. That is so unfortunate. Let me see Newegg. What do you guys got? 5070. Newegg got Jesus Christ. Now I'm gonna give you guys a cheat code. You guys probably not gonna agree with me. I'm about to give you guys a cheat code. If you want a 5070 at MSRP, check Walmart. I know. Before you guys crucify me, sorry about that. Here we are. Look at it right here. 5070 pickup. MSRP, PNY. It's a cheat code. Thank me later. If you want if you have a 1440p monitor, also still have some great choices. All right, for the 1440p, right? You can still use some of the cards that I mentioned, but for 1440p, right? If you want a beast of a GPU, stay away from this one right here, 5070 Ti. Why I say that is because of the simple reason that this card is way too overpriced. Way too overpriced. Now for 1440p, we want to be looking at like 5070. That's where we want to go. And as you guys already seen, I have right here even the Founders Edition, bro. Let me see. Is this true? Is this real? Or is this just advertisement? Like, you know, say details. No, right here. Look, pick up. It's not shipping available. So wow, okay. Wow. Founders Edition 5070, $549. Who would have thought? I'm actually shocked. I am recording this of July 9th. A PNY. Oh, you got a 609. Overpriced. Wait. Oh, that's a TI. Overpriced. Overpriced. I will not pay more than MSRP for this car. Do not listen. Do not give in. Do not pay more than MSRP for this car. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Now let's look at the 9070 XC. 9070 XC. I would not look at a 9070 just for the simple fact that they always hang around the same price, which is why I say 9070 XT over the 9070. Because look at the 9070. You can often find them for this freaking price right here. Like, what's the fucking point? Like, for that $699, I'll buy this one right here, $729. Look, and I can add to cart if I wanted to. And you also have open box. I will highly recommend to check open boxes, because Best Buy has some really good open boxes now. Let's go over here to Newegg. And Newegg, Lord have mercy, 9070 to 700. 699, that's too expensive. 739, that's too expensive. 719 is like the cheapest one here from what I see. 719 is not that bad. If you really want a 9070 XT, it's not that bad. I will still wait though. It's still too expensive. Yo, 1200. Bro, what the hell is this? That is ridiculous. Bro, I don't give a fuck what card this is, but that's ridiculous. My God. What do you guys have? 5070 Ti's. Look at that. How is a 5070 Ti cheaper than the 9070 XT? Bro, that make no fucking sense, bro. That just does not make any sense, bro. No, it does not make any sense. But that's not the card we're looking at. 1440p. I apologize. It's just no 5070s here from what I see. It's just TIs. It's just TIs. So, okay, good. Moving on to Micro Center. I don't believe in Micro Center right now because they don't seem to have MSRP cars. This one right here, $699, a white edition, bro. Like, it's the cheapest car, a white edition. Like, really? Yup. From what it looks like, all of these cars are like kind of expensive, bro. It's not looking good for Micro Center. Looks like Best Buy right now is the budget king from what I'm seeing. Okay. 5070. Okay, so $599. That's not that bad for a 5070. I still wouldn't pay that though. MSRP, bro. MSRP. Budget build. Yo, 900. Oh, this is 5070 Ti's. That's way too overpriced. I would not listen. Do not pay more than MSRP on a 5070. I cannot stress this enough. Do not pay more than MSRP for a 5070, bro. You do not want to do that. Trust me when I tell you. So for 1440p, That seems to be the option. If you have a 4K monitor, now you see that's when it starts getting kind of difficult, because there are some mid cards that could do 4K and they'll look good, just not ultra 4K. Like for example, you could buy a 9070 XT, you could buy a 5070 Ti. Even the 5070 will do 4K. Now it's gonna rely heavily on upscaling technology like DLSS and frame gen and all whatnot, but it is what it is. It's still gonna be, you're still gonna be able to play 4K, but just gonna be like upscale 4K. Like if you're coming from consoles, you're not gonna notice a difference. Like you'll be able to play 4K no problem, you know. Now once you get if you want like all the bells and whistles, that's when the only options that you have is either the 5080 or the 5090. Now the reason why in the beginning I said it is not worth high-end PC gaming is because the graphics card are like so expensive, and then not only are they so expensive, you're gonna need a power supply to go with that, because 9 times out of 10 your power supply is not gonna have enough wattage for the card. And then not only that, then you run into driver issues, your game crashes, not compatible, you're running out of, well, if you have a 5090, you're not gonna run out of VRAM. You get a 4080 Super as well, or 4090 or 4070 Ti Super. I feel like a 4070 Ti Super is like a good entry level to 4K, and then if you want something stronger than that, then you go to like 5070 Ti levels. But the 5070 Ti is like overpriced. Like the cheapest you will find is probably like 900, 800. That's just too much, man. And then 4080 Super, you won't find it. If you do find a 4080 Super, man, you're blessed. Like if you are blessed, because you don't come across those nowadays, man, you know. Now I'm curious about 4K. So if you want to think about, if you're thinking about 4K, which I don't think you should, if you think about 4K, right? So there's only 3 options. Let's just go to AMD for it. The 7900 XTX. Yeah, look at that one. Wow, I don't believe it. They actually got one, and they got 25. Yo, this is a steal right here, bro. 800 for that? Yo, that's fucking amazing. Stay away from these two. Your 5080s at. No freaking way. Yo, 1100. That is not bad. The only problem is PNY. So I don't know if you want to dibble and dabble. Oh wow. So the 5070, the 5080s are actually cut in price. Well, some of them. Another one, but mostly seem the biggest cuts is mostly from PNY. You have a Zotac for 1400. Okay. Man, they don't even have them as a card. 1400, 15. That's just too much. 1399, 16. Yeah, pretty much. The Astro for that, just wait for fucking 5090. Like why? And 1694, 1579. Look at this, bro. It's ridiculous. Now, I will say this. I will probably catch a lot of heat for this right now. I don't even want to go to, I already seen the Best Buy prices. They're just ridiculous. I'm going to catch a lot of heat. But if you want a 5090, right now is the time to buy your 5090. Why I say that? Because, yes, I know it's PNY, but it's still a 5090, bro, for like 2500. Like, bro, you can't beat that. Like, that price. Or you rather spend this price right here. Look at this, bro. This is worth more than a fucking car, bro. That's just. Now, chapter 3, pre-built or build your own. Now, when I first started, my brother convinced me, because when I was doing my YouTube channel, I was still on console. So my brother eventually convinced me to get a gaming PC. Now I decided to go the pre-built route. I bought an iPad Power. I think it was like $1,000 in Walmart, but it was on sale for $700. It was on clearance. It had a 4060, an i5 13600KF, and then it had 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. It's pretty good. I still got my 4060 right here. This is the one that it came with. Still going strong. It was lightly used, like what? I think I used it like 3-4 months, and then after that I upgraded into a 4070 Super. I'll tell you one thing though, I was freaking terrified. Like, I was terrified to change any parts in my computer. But the first thing I did, I went from 16 gigabytes of RAM to 64 immediately, bro. I just got rid of the, I needed 64 gigabytes of RAM because I was editing and then processing videos at the same time I was playing. So I was doing both at the same time. But eventually, the 4070 Super was not satisfying me gaming wise, because I had this concept of, damn, I'm playing 4K on the consoles, and I'm over here playing 1440p on a fucking computer when this computer costs more than my goddamn PS5. Like, what is going on? I was delusional at that point in time. I was blind. I did not know what the hell I was talking about, because if you guys do not know that the consoles, the PS5, PS5 Pro, or the Series X don't play, there's like what, like 5-6 games that they play natively 4K. They don't really play games in 4K. That's just a big ass lie. They just play upscale 4K. They're not really 4K. There's like a few games, and I'm talking about like very, very few games that you can run 4K, and they're usually at 30 FPS cap. But if you decide to go the preview route, sorry, I was ranting over there, then I feel like if you never enter PC gaming and you're by yourself, it is always better to go pre-build, because then you could just upgrade from there, and then eventually you'll build your own PC like I did. I bought a pre-build, and then eventually I built my own PC. So if you do decide to go for a pre-build, I just highly recommend you research the parts that the pre-build is coming with. Like, for example, if you find a PC that's $1,000 or less, and it comes with, like, let's say for example, because it probably don't make 4060 no more, if this is like a 5060 build for like $1,000, that is overpriced. Why I say it's overpriced? Because you can find anywhere right now, you can find a 5060 for like $299. You know, it's just, so the graphics card costs $300, and then if it has what, like, let's say for example, it has like a Ryzen 5 or something, it's just overpriced. Like, because remember, the pre-builds, they're gonna charge you like $200-300 more. Now, if you take the same $1,000 pre-build and you build a computer for $1,000, like you yourself spend $1,000 on computer parts, that computer that you build is gonna be 2 to 3 times better than the pre-build that's $1,000. That's what I'm saying. Like, build your own is better, but it's harder, requires a lot of research. Like, I'm talking to you, like, you're gonna have to watch at least like 30 to 40 builds, like tutorials, not build, like tutorials. You're gonna have to watch a lot of tutorials. Like, even me, when I was building my PC, I remember I ran into an issue where I didn't know where the case cables, the case AIO cables went on the motherboard, and then I had to watch like 4 or 5 videos in the shorts. Then after I figured that out, then I ran out of USB headers on the motherboard. Like, USB headers is the ports where you plug in the case fans. Like, the fans is gonna give airflow to your case. My motherboard only had 2, so then I had to use a USB hub. I ran into a lot of issues, but eventually, like, there is nothing like the sense of accomplishment when you finish your build. When you finish building the computer, there is no better sense of accomplishments. Like, damn, I freaking built my own PC. Like, you know. Chapter 4, a pre-built route. So if you went to the pre-built route, right, it's completely fine. Then, like I said, research your parts. You're gonna have to research, because sometimes you're not gonna like what this manufacturer, like a $1,500. If you are making if you're buying a pre-built for $1,500 and it does not have a 9070 XT or 5070 Ti, that's too expensive. Because sometimes these manufacturers, they will give you like a good graphics card and a good CPU, but then they'll give you like a trash motherboard, and then a trash SSD, and then a trash power supply, and then you're like six months down the line, the power supply fails, or the SSD fails, or they give you some cheap ass RAM. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the only problem with the pre-builds. Like, you have to make sure, like I said, you always got to make sure to try to find out like what actual parts the PC has. Because when I bought my first pre-build, I bought an iPad Power. I don't even know what brand the SSD was, and then I ended up switching the SSD because I just didn't trust it. And then the RAM, I had like a RAM failure a few times where I had to go into the motherboard and disable XMP because the motherboard was the RAM was acting up. So that's another thing. That's why I went and bought a 64GB kit from Corsair. Now, I made a mistake, excuse me, and bought a 4-stick, but we'll get into that in the next chapter. But yeah, if you are looking for a pre-build it also depends on your budget too, because like I said, PC gaming unfortunately is cheap. I mean, it's expensive. It's not a cheap hobby, depending on what you want, you know. And in pre-build route, there's usually not that many good PCs for less than $1,000 on pre-build, unless you get like really lucky. Like I'm telling you, under $1,000 pre-builds, there's not that many good ones. You really have to find like this gem. You have to do a lot of research on your parts as well, and be prepared to swap out parts like from your pre-build, because sometimes, like I said, they give you some pretty bad power supplies, and then your power supply ends up breaking in less than a year. I was fortunate enough to have a really good pre-build, and I had a really good power supply. Thank for that. And then chapter 5, build your own. Now, if you decided to build your own and forego the pre-build route, now, like I said earlier, 2 chapters ago, be prepared to watch at least 100 videos, 100 build videos. Read a lot of forums, people experiencing building their first PC. Also, try to watch videos where they're actually doing their first time PC building. Those are the most information ones, because the other people, like, you will watch a build video like, oh, how to build a PC, they will skip a lot of steps, and I did not like that. You know who has a really good one? TechSource has a really good 2025 computer build. Oh, I think it's 2024. He has a really good one, because he actually explains to you what happens if this doesn't. Let's say if you run into this issue, refer to such and such other video, and then come back when you blah, blah, blah. He has a really good one. But then there's another one. If I could find him, I will link him in the description. The guy that helped me, the fucking power supply. Like the power supply, I read the instructions and I still was lost. The only reason is because I have an internal hard drive, so I needed the SATA cable connections. That threw me off completely. Then I wasn't sure if to use 2 PCIe cables for the graphics card, but thankfully my power supply came with a 12-volt high power cable, so I just needed just 1 cable. So yeah, like that. Then I ran into an issue where the AIO was too big for the case, so then I had to take the fans off the AIO, put the fan on top of the grill, and then screw the fans under the grill so it could fit. So it's like a custom fit. It's like you're gonna run into a lot of issues. It took me 6.5 hours I spent building my PC, and most of that time was spent troubleshooting mistakes. Like not mistakes, like issues. Like I had to troubleshoot like I told you guys the AIO. Then I had to troubleshoot that I didn't have enough USB headers, and then when you turn it on, it had no post. Like it didn't post screen. So then I lay on the floor like, damn bro, what the hell I did wrong? And then the computer turned on, and then the screen was on, and I'm guessing it was making like a check to see if everything was working. And then that was success. That was like success. I was like, oh yes, finally. But yeah, the first thing I changed in my pre-build was an SSD. Now that was like one of the easiest changes. Then I went from a RAM, and then from the RAM I went to the graphics card, and then from the graphics card I cleaned it out for the first time. I unplugged the AIO and stuff like that. So you're like, if you decide to go build your own, just be prepared to deal with all your computer parts. Because remember, if you're by yourself and you don't have anybody around you, you're gonna have to look at a lot of videos. Now, if you are fortunate enough to live by a Micro Center, they will build one for you. Like you buy the parts and they will charge you a fee to build it. Like I feel like that is the best way to go when you don't want to build it by yourself. That is the best route. But then again, you know, Micro Centers are scarce nowadays. Like you have to be lucky. I live in Connecticut. There's no Micro Centers here. I will have to go up to Massachusetts if I want to go to a Micro Center, which is like 3 hours away. It's not a bad drive. There's also another one in New York down below. So there's 2 in New York. I can go down to New York or go to Massachusetts. It is what it is. Now, like I said, if you're building your own, be prepared to run into a lot of issues. Don't be deterred though. Like running into issues is not a bad thing. It's just a learning experience. Just take it as a learning experience. Now here, I'm gonna leave you guys some benchmarks, because the bad part, I feel like the baddest part about PC gaming is you're gonna run into a lot of issues. Like there's always driver issues. You're gonna run into a lot of driver issues when you launch a game is gonna be stuck in shaders compilation. Every time you get a driver update, most game has to compile shaders. That shit is so annoying. Sometimes you launch a game, the game might crash, then you launch the game, crashes again. You launch it a third time and it finally went through. Especially when this game, when they just came out, and be prepared to experience a lot of issues. Also, now I could talk about the high-end stuff. The reason why I say high-end gaming is not worth it is because like I spent $1,300 on a 5080 and I still got to use DLSS and frame gen. Like that to me is kind of fucked up, because I feel like if I spend that amount of money, I shouldn't have to use upscaling technology. Like you know, like unless you have even a 5090, you could barely play a lot of games native 4K 60. Like gaming is in this state is just stupid. For that, I'll just get a 90s. Like if you want my advice, if you really want my advice, if you have like an unlimited amount of money, go to 5090. Just go to 5090 and you're good to go, and forget everything I said, because you just have unlimited money to spend. Now if you're a person like me, I would have just have gotten if I'm being honest, I would have just gotten a 9070 XT or a 5070 Ti. I would have never made the jump to the 5080 because I'm coming from a 4070 Super. So I would have never made the jump to the 5080 because I wanted a 5090, but it's just like $3,000, bro. Like I'm not trying to spend them. I don't have $3,000, bro, for just one PC component. That is ridiculous, bro. That's a down payment on a car, bro. That's a fucking car right there. Like that's crazy, bro. So right after this, I'm gonna leave you guys some benchmarks and then I will do my outro or whatever. All right, so here we have Doom: The Dark Ages. So I'm just gonna show you guys. This is PC gaming at its finest. So we're running it right now. We're running it native. This is native, no upscaling, no anything. Getting about 55, 53 FPS, give or take here or there or whatever. Now for me, I don't know how it's gonna look, but for me this is completely fine. Damn, I forgot how to play. So you see what I'm saying? Like, and this is a beefy ass game, and I'm running it yeah, I'm running it 4K, everything max. VSync is on. I don't look ultra nightmare, everything. Now I don't have path tracing on. I'm pretty sure if we turn path tracing on, we're just gonna destroy my graphics card. But we're just gonna go ahead and do it. Yeah, all lights on, water reflection, everything. We're gonna destroy my graphics card. We destroyed the graphic card so hard that the game froze. That destroyed my settings. So yeah, no path tracing for me. That seems to be exclusively for the 5090. I'm gonna go and activate all the bells and whistles and whatever. So now for me, where is the... So if I use DLSS, right? If I use quality DLSS without frame gen, it looks smooth to you guys. I'm around 80 something frames. I'm about to die. So you guys can see, it is not bad. Like, but then again, that's because I have a 58. I'm playing everything on ultra, you know. It's like, this is a $1,500 graphics card. Not everybody's gonna be able to afford one. Honestly, in reality, I wanted a 5090, but then after all these issues that I've been running into, it's just not even worth it. So this is what I usually play on when I'm not recording. When I did the ultra, like when I did for the gold armor, this is usually where I play at. If I don't play at this, I mean, like when I'm recording videos, I do turn on frame gen because it will be just smoother for the recording. But for me, for my eyes, I don't need all of this, if I'm being honest. Well, yeah, let's move on to the next game. All right. So this is Clair Obscur 33, right? So I'm actually running this on native. I've ran this entire game. I did a whole playthrough on this on native resolution 4K, epic settings. Oh, this one, the post process, I put this on low because I hated when we was in the map everything would just be blurry. But everything is on Epic. 5080 native. I usually get around 60 FPS locked because I have it locked. Let me see what happens. Hold on. Let me see what happens when I unlock the settings. Okay. Wait, did it not save? Okay, 120. So if I unlock the frame rate, it goes up and down 64 or whatever the case may be. But I usually just like running it on 60 FPS because there's just no need. Like, I'm getting more than 60, so there's literally no need, you know? I'm the type of person that if I could get 60 on the game, I am very happy. I don't need to make it more difficult for myself. As long as I get 60 on any game, I am happy. I am not complaining about nothing. Let me see. My GPU's temperature is at 40 Celsius and my CPU is at 65. Wait, I didn't reset the flag. Oh my god. Let me cut and be back. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. I've been doing this fight because I've been trying to grind some Call of Lumina so I can fight Simon. That's the only reason. Yeah, but this should be easy fight for me. Oh, already marked them. Last chance.
Not giving up.
Stand up. No, that was not what I wanted to do. Actually, I messed up. I mean, I wanted to kill him, but that's not the attack that I wanted to do. Well, I mean, but you see the frame rate, how much it drops. You guys see the frame rate, how much it drops on when I'm doing battle. But keep in mind, this is an Unreal Engine 5 game, so the fact that I can run this on the transition and walking around and 60 FPS on the Unreal Engine 5 game is an achievement in itself. But oh boy, you guys are not ready for the next game that's coming up. This game that's coming up is just horrendous. By the way, yeah, every time you update your drivers, this happens. Since I haven't played this game since I've updated my drivers last time. I actually updated my drivers for this video. But yeah, this is the thing. Good thing this actually came out because I probably forgot to talk about it. But every time you play a new game on your computer, it needs to optimize the game for your PC component. Now, this could take 5 minutes. This could take 30 minutes. This could take 25 minutes. This could take an hour. It all depends on how good your hardware is. Sometimes how good your hardware is doesn't even matter. It just takes forever because that's just how it goes with PC. But yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds is one of the worst culprits when it comes to this because it takes an eternity. It doesn't matter like how good your hardware is. This always takes an eternity, man, and I hate it. All right, so this is Monster Hunter Wilds running on a 5080 default. Like, it's literally no upscaling technology, and I'm getting about 48, 47. This is why a lot of people, this is why this game is getting a lot of negative like reviews right now, because it's just straight up, you know, like straight up terrible performance. Now I know this just got an update and it finally got frame generation, how you call it, frame generation ×4. So now we put the quality presets of DLSS, it kicks me up to like 58, 64, you know, 62, which is kind of stupid. But in battle that drops substantially, man. I'm not gonna go into a battle because if not, I'm not trying to make this like a review of the 5080. I'm just trying to show you guys more of what's it like to play on PC. And I have like a mid to high end card, and then if you're able to, you see, it even gives you a choice if you put 4 times frame generation. Now to me this is like super buttery smooth. I'm getting like 165 fake frames, like you guys say, you know. It's just like, okay, it's smooth as hell for you guys. Like, you see what I'm saying? Everything is all fun and games, but then I have to turn on all these upscaling technologies, so it's not really 4K. So every time you turn on a upscaling technology, it's not 4K. It's just the game lowers the resolution and upscales it using the software technology from NVIDIA, which is pretty good. It's using AI to upscale the image And Nvidia's DLSS 4 is like the best out of the best out there. But still, like, this basically is the experience on PC, which is kind of frustrating. Now, moving on to another game, which I think the devs did an amazing job. Now, here is Stellar Blade. This game just came out like a few weeks ago. As you see, look at the frame time. Native 4K, everything ultra or epic or whatever. Let me look at the... I'm pretty sure everything is ultra. Graphics, NVIDIA DLA, not native. No frame gen, none of that shit. Very high. I put the 4K environment textures, you know. Everything very high. No film grain, no goddamn motion blur, none of that shenanigans. 4K. I got the VSync on. As you can see, like, if a game can release like this, I know it's a PS5 game and it is a year-old port or whatever you want to call it. But still, if you could achieve this level of smoothness or whatever, like well over 90, bro, that's just, you can't really be mad at that, you know. With the GPU at 46 degrees Celsius, 47 inclined, like, you know, it's really, it just maintains there, excuse me. Also, I want you guys to take a look at my RAM. You see, my RAM is like way over the 16 gigabytes, which is kind of crazy, right? I know. I do have 64 gigs of RAM. People will tell you, listen, I just get what I want. I want a 64 gigs of RAM because sometimes when I'm recording, I'm also editing, processing a video, and playing the game at the same time, which this allows me to do. Anyway, moving on to probably the next and final game. So yeah, here is everybody's favorite game, Cyberpunk 2077, running on a Ryzen 7800 X3D and a RTX 5080. Ace is tough. Now you tell me what's wrong with this. A 5080, bro, is still not capable of getting 60 FPS, and there's no ray tracing. Like, there's ray tracing is not activated. This is what you get, native 44 frames per second. Now that is sad. Like, that is so sad. So now we gotta come over here and activate quality, and then with quality DLSS, we are up to 80, 74. Pretty good experience if you tell me, but still I had to use DLSS. Now the game is completely playable like this. Don't let this deter you from the game. Is completely playable like this. Also, it looks amazing even though it's not native 4K. Like, this is like one of my favorite games, at least top 5. Like, this game changed like the way I look at RPGs. Like, this game really changed the way I look at RPGs. Let me put sharpness at, let's do 70. Okay, way better. Look at that, way better. The sharpness, it looks freaking amazing. I had the sharpness at 50. Can we push it? And there's no input lag. Like, this is so responsive. Like, it's not even a joke. It's so responsive. Let me see. Can I put it way sharper than this? How much of a hit do we take? Nothing. It's just super sharp and really smooth, even when you pan the camera on. And then now let's turn on the ray tracing. The reason I wanted to do this one last is because, you know, this is one of the most demanding games aside from Doom Eternal. So when you turn the ray tracing on, it looks ridiculous, but then you get a hit with a performance hit, like really bad performance hit. And then look how our RAM kicked up. Now if we go and turn on frame generation, wait, no, turn on frame generation. Where is it? I mean, I turn on frame generation. Oh, so my fault. We gotta restart the game because, you know, some settings require you to reset the game. Some games require you to reset the game to apply settings. Some games don't. This is one of those games that you have to reset the game to get the settings that you want. BRB. So now that frame gens times 4 is enabled, I'm getting 145 frames per second. It's really responsive. It doesn't seem bad. No latent, like no delay. Like it's pretty responsive. Everything looks good. No motion blur. I fucking hate motion blur. No weapon. Oh, there's no weapon. I don't have a weapon. Yeah, I have a fucking pistol. What the fuck you mean? You know, pretty standard stuff. I'm not gonna hit her because I don't want the cops on me. But yeah, it looks pretty good and smooth all around. Now let's turn on path tracing. Hopefully we don't have a Doom Eternal. I mean Doom. I keep saying Doom Eternal. Hopefully we don't have a Doom. Oh damn! I forgot the name of the game. Doom the Dark Ages situation where we just. Okay, so there is a little bit of input latency right here. It's still super responsive, but now we have the path tracing, which just makes the game look ridiculous. Can I go outside? No, because we're stuck in the mission. So, but yeah, I beat this game in my Xbox, and I bought it on PC because it was on sale, like the Ultimate Edition with Phantom Liberty and whatnot. And believe it or not, I have not played Phantom Liberty. Oh, we could kill this guy. So yeah, you see, it's pretty responsive, even with the Transformers model. I still think this game, even though it came out in 2020, this game is one of the best looking games out today. This game is so good. So if you want to run everything cranked up, all the max settings and whatnot, you could definitely play like this, and it looks really good. But the problem is you're not playing 4K. This is not 4K, bro. This is like 1080p upscale to 4K with path tracing and all that bullshit. Even though DLSS is pretty good at this job, it is still not perfect. But that's what I'm saying. That's pretty much PC gaming in a nutshell. Unless you have a 5090, this is basically everything that you're gonna run into. So yeah, now that you guys seen these benchmarks, like you see what I'm saying, like it always gonna depend when you're on PC. It's always gonna depend on the devs and how good they optimize their games. And I kind of don't like that because, as you saw, Stellar Blade run perfect, Ultra. What's this game? Expedition 33 run perfect. You know, I didn't even need DLSS. I just put DLSS because when I'm recording games, for some reason, OBS, if it's not getting like more than 60 FPS, it just looks choppy and it just looks like. But I have, in my monitor, I have VSync, so it looks smooth. And then Cyberpunk, you know, Cyberpunk isn't famous for being like super heavy on the GPU and the CPU both. Then you have Monster Hunter Wilds, the worst optimized, one of the worst optimized game, but it kind of doesn't feel like, because they just released an update with the last driver that they released, so now they have 4x frame generation. So now I was getting like 160 FPS, but like my motherboard is the cheapest component in my computer, and because of my I don't have a really good expensive motherboard. I have a budget motherboard. That's why if I had a good motherboard, if I had like an A70E, I will be getting like over 200 frames per second. Because that's another thing. Your motherboard, I know a lot of people are not gonna agree with me, but your motherboard plays part in your everything synergizes together, right? So your motherboard, your CPU, your graphics card, and your RAM, all of that. If you have really good ones, I don't mean high, I don't mean like expensive. I'm talking about like if you have a really good synergy, you will get a lot of FPS. Because I know a lot of people that have my same setup, but they have a better motherboard than me, and they're getting like 30 to 40 frames more than me, and I'm like, bro, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing? How the hell are they getting so much frames from me? Like, that's another thing. Like I'm telling you, like, don't cheap out. If you're building your own, don't cheap out on your motherboard. Don't cheap out on your RAM. Like those two right there, do not cheap out on those two, bro, because those are like one of the most important parts of the build. I cheaped out on my motherboard. Unfortunately for me, I'm paying the price for it. I will upgrade later on to a better motherboard, but for now, what I have right now is perfect for me. I have no complaints. Runs really good. It doesn't overheat, thankfully. That's like the biggest issue. It does not overheat. That as long as it does not overheat, I'm good. I am good. But nonetheless, I hope this video could help you out if you do decide to make the jump into PC gaming. Damn, I don't think I've ever spoken this much, bro. God damn. All right, man. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you guys like the video, please drop a like. I will really appreciate it. On that note, I'll see you guys next time, man. Take care. What's up, guys? Mola Gaming here, back with another one for you guys. Just wanted to let you guys know, if you're watching my videos and you are liking my videos, make sure to drop a like, and also consider subscribing and turning the notification bell on, you know, so it can let you know when I do drop a video. Let's get to it.